What's cooking, WWE Nation? This is Ringside Insider, bringing you fresh wrestling heat every day. Smash subscribe and let's jump right in. Paul Heyman and Austin Theory stood on opposite sides of a moment that may redefine Monday Night Raw. There was no ring, no crowd reaction to lean on, and no physical confrontation to distract from the truth being spoken. Heyman's words were calm but deliberate, the kind of tone that suggests long-term thinking rather than short-term drama. Austin Theory listened, aware that moments like this are rarely accidental in WWE. When Heyman speaks about vision, it is never abstract. It is about direction, belief, and consequences. This was not encouragement dressed up as motivation. It was an evaluation disguised as opportunity. In WWE, futures are not decided by promises but by pressure. And in this quiet exchange, the weight of expectation settled heavily. Sometimes the most dangerous moments are the ones that feel controlled. A backstage atmosphere, heavy with meaning. The backstage setting immediately felt different from the usual passing conversation. The tone was serious, measured, and intentional. WWE often uses these moments to quietly signal major shifts, and this was no exception. The absence of chaos made the words land harder. Nothing here felt improvised. Every pause carried implication. WWE storytelling thrives on these controlled environments, where power is expressed through confidence rather than volume. The atmosphere suggested that something was being set in motion rather than resolved. When moments like this happen backstage, they often ripple outward into weeks of television. This was not a segment meant to entertain in the moment alone. It was designed to linger. WWE understands that some of the most important turning points happen away from the spotlight, where intent is clearer and stakes are more personal. Paul Heyman and the power of perspective. Paul Heyman does not deal in coincidence. His presence alone reframes any situation he enters. Rather than offering answers immediately, he chose reflection. By forcing others to look backward, he highlighted how far circumstances had changed. This approach is classic Heyman. He does not sell hope. He sells contrast. Where you were versus where you are now. WWE has long used this method to establish credibility, and Heyman executes it better than anyone. Perspective creates leverage. By reminding people of their past, he positions himself as someone who understands trajectories, not just moments. This is why his words carry influence. WWE audiences recognize that when Heyman speaks this way, it often precedes transformation, not reassurance. The question that shifts the conversation. Rather than delivering commands, Heyman asked a question. That question did more damage than any accusation could. It forced reflection and silence, two things WWE rarely uses unless it wants viewers to lean in. Silence creates discomfort, and discomfort creates attention. The question reframed success as something earned through belief rather than luck. WWE storytelling often hinges on moments where characters must confront their own progress. This was one of those moments. Heyman didn't need to explain the implication. The absence of immediate answers made the message stronger. Sometimes WWE allows viewers to connect the dots themselves, trusting the audience to understand the gravity of what is being said. From uncertainty to spotlight. Heyman's reminder of the past was not meant to diminish. It was meant to define contrast. WWE often uses this structure to emphasize growth. When performers are reminded of where they once stood, their current position gains legitimacy. This is how WWE reframes momentum as destiny. The spotlight feels brighter when compared to previous obscurity. Heyman's delivery suggested that success was not accidental, but guided. That distinction matters in WWE narratives. It separates those who benefit from opportunity from those who create it. By framing progress this way, the segment positioned belief as the true catalyst behind advancement. Vision as a weapon, not a promise. When Heyman speaks of vision, it is never inspirational, it is transactional. Vision comes with expectation. WWE storytelling uses this framing to add pressure without explicit threats. Vision implies responsibility. If someone believes in you, you are expected to deliver results. This is what makes Heyman's involvement so compelling. He does not elevate talent without attaching consequence. WWE history supports this pattern. Vision is not about comfort, it is about demand. This moment reinforced that belief must be repaid with performance. That idea alone raised the stakes without requiring confrontation. A match that becomes a measuring stick. The announcement that followed reframed competition as evaluation. WWE often uses matches as proving grounds rather than resolutions. This one carried that exact energy. It was positioned not as an opportunity but as a test. Tests in WWE are rarely fair by design. They are meant to reveal composure, adaptability, and resilience. By framing the match through Heyman's perspective, the stakes became psychological as much as competitive. The outcome matters, but the response matters more. WWE frequently watches how talent handles expectation before deciding what comes next. This moment clearly served that purpose. Why calm acceptance is the most dangerous response. What made the segment unsettling was the lack of resistance. There was no argument, no negotiation, no visible doubt. Acceptance carries its own kind of danger. When expectations are acknowledged rather than challenged, pressure intensifies. WWE storytelling often uses this calm agreement to signal confidence or inevitability. The lack of fear suggested belief, not hesitation. That tone reinforced the seriousness of Heyman's vision. WWE understands that tension does not always come from conflict. Sometimes it comes from agreement, because agreement means accountability has been accepted. History's pattern. When Paul Heyman invests, WWE history shows a clear pattern when Heyman aligns himself with vision. Someone rises quickly and someone else fades just as fast. This duality is central to his role. He does not spread belief evenly. He concentrates it. That concentration creates imbalance, and imbalance creates drama. WWE has relied on this formula for decades. Heyman's involvement almost always marks a turning point. The segment leaned into that legacy without referencing it directly. Viewers familiar with WWE history immediately understood the implication. Investment means expectation, and expectation reshapes careers. A quiet warning that echoes forward. This backstage moment did not need spectacle to feel significant. Its power came from restraint. WWE often saves its loudest statements for the ring, but its most important ones happen elsewhere. This was a warning delivered through vision rather than threat. The future implications are clear even without certainty. WWE thrives on moments where outcomes are unknown, but stakes are undeniable. This segment accomplished exactly that. It reframed direction, applied pressure, and planted anticipation. Sometimes WWE doesn't tell you what will happen next. It tells you that whatever happens next will matter.